Store cash. You do the normally way, you just go all the way through when it comes to the cash screen. Yeah. Store chart, yes.
Okay, we're gonna start the meeting. I'm gonna ask people at the club to keep it down, and I'm gonna ask other people online if you have any background noise, please put yourself on mute. That way, we don't have to listen to baseball, the world's worst sport, in my humble opinion. Before we start the meeting, I have some sad news to report. Laura Dietrich, longtime wife of Bob Dietrich, passed away this week after her bout with cancer. I'm not going to go too much more into it. Rich Allman's on the line if he wants to add anything, if he knows anything more to it. But I want us all to say a little prayer for the Dietrich family. Laura has always been wonderful, a gracious host when we go down to Delaware, or back when they were up in Pennsylvania. Always a wonderful time at the Dietrich residence. So please keep the whole family in your prayers. And with that, the death of Laura, which is very, very sad, some good news with the Circle of Life is I missed last month's meeting because my daughter Kara gave birth to our first grandchild, young little girl, Lavery. The name comes from my grandfather. That was his name, his surname, who was off the boat from Ireland. So my maternal grandfather, his last name was Lavery. So my daughter named the baby Lavery. And baby and mom are doing well, but keep them in your thoughts. The baby's going to have a little surgery, oral surgery done on Wednesday. But again, keep Laura Dietrich and her family in your thoughts. I want to thank Charles Sontag. I wish I was there today. I was all set to go today, but I had a mechanical issue late yesterday afternoon with my car. I have a Jeep. My battery went. Last time my battery went, it died on the highway and nothing worked at all. You can't jump start them. You can't do anything with them other than a new battery. So I didn't want a chance to go up there with a bad battery, and I couldn't get a battery until late this morning. So Charles, I apologize. I can't get there. I was looking forward to it. I always like an open house. I love trolleys, but I also like trains, and I love anything on rail. And I wish I was there for that. So thank you for inviting East Penn up to your layout, and hopefully next year I'll be able to do it. And because of the last month I missed because of the birth of my grandchild, a belated thank you to John V. Gallagher for opening up his house and running his layout for us. Before I go on, Rich, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, I think you've said it all. Arrangements for memorial are still pending. We'll find out where they want memorial gifts directed, and probably the club will send something in Laurie's memory.
Okay, thank you very much for that. It's sad. Well, you've been friends with them forever, and your wife is friendly with Laura, and she was always such a wonderful woman, always a gracious host.
Yep.
Okay, Charles Long.
Yes.
Is Charles Sontag there? Would he like to say anything because it's his place?
Yeah, right here. Get over the camera here.
Okay.
Hi, folks. Welcome
Hello,
to the New York Society of Model Engineering. We're having our open house today. We're also having it tomorrow. So if you couldn't make it today, maybe you'd like to visit us here tomorrow. And I think also on March 8th and 9th and the 15th and 16th. So we have an HO and an O scale layout. We've got trolley stuff, not going quite to the level I wanted, but we're getting there. We're getting there. And lots of beautiful steam, lots of electric, lots of diesel. So there's something for everyone here, hopefully. So thank you again for coming here. We've got good food and hopefully we'll have good times. So
I
thank
saw
you.
the picture of the food that, I can't pronounce that French word, chartreuse board or whatever you call it.
Charcuterie,
Charcuterie
charcuterie. What?
board.
It doesn't really matter. It's
It's
Means
wonderful.
sliced meats.
Thank you very much.
yes,
Thank you,
Yes.
Charles.
yes.
That was, it looked delicious, yes,
It's a very nice spread.
yes. Before we go on any further, Charlie, Long, are you, prepared to speak anything about finance or?
Yeah. The cash account has $318.79. The checking account has $4,969.18. The money market account has $18,785.47. The PayPal account has $241.80. So
Okay,
the total is
And,
$24,315.24.
okay, and before everybody thinks that we're rolling in the dough, we got a big expense that'll be coming up shortly, correct, Charles? With
Right.
The meat,
And the people have been registering for the meets and dealers have been sending in reservations for tables.
good.
Is there a mailing going out for registration or is it just online?
What I did is, I guess it was back in last month, I sent it out to the dealers. I sent the mailing out to the dealers. Now, I guess yesterday I sent 60 flyers out to our some of our mailing lists.
Okay.
So there's more to do, but
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
somewhat tedious.
No,
Fold and mail.
I didn't
and
know if I
postage.
need, I hadn't registered yet because I normally get a thing in the mail,
Yeah,
but I didn't know if I needed to do it online only.
yeah,
So,
yeah, and also flyers went out in last month's newsletter.
Okay. I just had.
Well,
Okay,
I
and-
think it was I think there was a note that Adam put in the online one,
Okay.
and I inserted it in
The
the
link.
mailed
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, I did it online. Hopefully you, the money went through. It was pulled out of my, debit account, so,
Yeah,
yeah, so it seems to be working. So those that are on the line, if you haven't signed up yet, please sign up for the meet. Okay, and talking about the meet, I would suggest, for those that are going to be there multiple days to get your hotel rooms in. I went through some type of service, like at cheap hotels, and I was able to save $20 a night over 3 nights. That was like at least $60 I was able to save. So, and I'm at the same one that Doug's with, Comfort Inn, I think it is, but I was able to do better. They actually told me I could do better online. The only thing they could do for me was AA. And I said, well, I thought you could do better. And the guy said, well, have you been looking online? I'm like, oh, yes, I have. And he goes, well, we can't beat the online prices.
I think you meant AAA, Tom. AA, you have a different kind of problem.
No, yeah, you're absolutely, I don't have an alcohol problem. I got a trolley problem. You're actually,
Give them another A, yeah.
Yeah, TA, yeah, you're right, AAA. Thank you for that. So, if you are, don't wait too late. Last time around, a couple of the members, waited too late and, the only hotel room they were able to get was like 40 minutes away. I was one of them, so 35 minutes away is a sister-in-law, so I just stayed at my in-law's house. But this year I have something close to the meet and hopefully everybody else get out there before there's you can't do it. Anything else? Anybody want to say anything about the meet before we go into the next topic?
Charles, or Jim, you were going to say something?
Yes, there are 2 red roof inns at one at each of the airports. There's one at the Allentown Airport, which is fairly close to the fairgrounds, that's south of it. And there's one at the Allentown Bethlehem Easton Airport, which is east of the fairgrounds, the other side of Bethlehem. I think they're running in the $70 to $80 a night range.
Hmm.
The
Yeah,
one at the
some-
Allentown Airport has an indoor swimming pool.
Yeah, The only thing I would say is if you get something that good, and hopefully a couple of years ago, I did that, and I don't want to say you pay what you get for, but I think we overpaid for what we got for at 70 some dollars a night. But this time around, I went with a normal, I don't want to say normal, but like a national chain brand. Yes. But thank you anyway for that,
Just
Jim. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Okay.
a little tidbit here, when I made my reservation, the points that I earned when I got my hotel, when I used my hotel for the West Penn meet, got me a cheaper night at the East Penn meet. So it's, you use the same chain. So one trolley meet helps the other.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yes. Okay, let's move on to the next topic, which be prototype news. Anybody have any prototype news? I'll take that as a no. No.
It has started,
Go ahead.
and Suffolk has started using the T's on the trolleys instead of the numbers.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for that. Yes. The T lines.
Yeah.
And the G line.
Yeah, and the
M
G line,
and
yeah.
The D line.
G's a trolley too, but it doesn't get a T.
Yeah, it gets a G, and I say, the way it's been going, the G bus is now a number, and the other number bus, the 15 is now a G, because I can't tell you how many times I've been on Girard Avenue, I've yet to see a trolley. So yeah, but yeah, thank you for that, and just to add on to that, I did see somebody, they described that the way that the system is set up, T1 is the 10, it starts at the very top, and then it goes, and from a north to south. So
And the 30.
T5 is
It's 36.
36, right?
Yeah.
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 That's it. Hobby news. Is Ed or Doug on the phone?
I don't see anybody. They're not up here.
Okay, I did see something the other day on Facebook that Doug Copperwaite had put out a picture of the O-scale ex Kansas City bicentennial painted car.
They look fantastic.
Yes, it did. It only has one issue. It's a New Jersey, not a Pennsylvania car. So I don't know why that guy from New Jersey would want a New Jersey bicentennial car, but yes,
Well, no, they paint them. They were given a name for the 13 states.
Yeah, I know. I'm just busting the guy from New Jersey's stones for painting it New Jersey, putting New Jersey on it, not doing a Pennsylvania car, but
They also don't let you pump your own gas.
yeah, I know.
And there were 3 Pennsylvania cars.
Yes,
Yeah,
I think they
There's
did.
2 of everyone else.
Yeah, they did 27 cars. They did 2 for each state, but
And
Pennsylvania.
3 for
did
Pennsylvania.
3.
Yes. 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 So I did want to mention that. I believe I know Ed talked about it before at Bob Dietrich's house. Is it 3D printed, or are they having them? It's 3D printed and it's a kit, correct?
That I'm not sure. I
Yeah, I believe it's a kit. But it's beautiful. But Doug always does beautiful work. So
yeah, he doesn't put out too many clunkers, but he says he has. I think they're in a bin in the basement somewhere, never to be seen.
yes. Okay, anybody else with any hobby news? I'll take that as a no. Anybody have anything for the good of the order?
Yes.
Jim?
I've mentioned a number of times, I have a good supply of model making, layout making, trolley making supplies that have been donated by the widows of deceased members. Also, a lot of electronic stuff that I got at the Radio Shack bankruptcy auction that is very cheap. These the widows did wish that they be distributed to members who would use them rather than members who would sell them.
Right. Yeah, well, thank you for that.
That's Jim Boylan's.
Yes, Jim, you always have, you always have stuff to share with others, and thank you for that.
I also have a good supply of lumber, both plywood and framing wood.
Hmm. Good to keep that in mind too, for all gauges, yes. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else?
I'm gonna restart the flyover after the meeting's over. I'll keep it going for, another half hour or so. I flip it back and forth between the HO side and the O scale side. Hopefully I don't make anybody too sick of my rapid camera movements.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that, Michael. Okay,
Probably
next
anyone
meeting-
going to any shows or open houses, make arrangements with Charlie to get some flyers to take for the meet.
And I have flyers with me if anyone here wants to take some.
I can take some back to my phone.
Okay. Very good.
Is there interest
Michael.
in the trolley modules someplace where they can be set up? I have a couple of leads on possible places with various conditions.
I guess that would be probably more of a question. Yeah, you're assuming the O scale modules?
Well, I have the O scale, although if
Yeah.
if the HO people are looking for a place to set up, I have some leads as well.
Yeah, I'm
HO.
sorry, I thought I bought flyers,
Don't
but I
matter.
didn't
calendars in there?
put them in the
Sorry?
box.
You have calendars in there? as well?
Yeah,
I like it.
Hey, we have a calendar sale here. Yeah.
Yeah. Michael.
Yes, sir.
Before we finish the business meeting, do you want to just talk a little bit about next month's meeting?
Yes, next month is our photo contest and encourage everyone to submit photos. The rules are the same as last year, except that the due date has changed, 31 March. It really is helpful if people adhere to the naming convention for the files. So I keep everything separated appropriately. Once again, we'll be doing it as a Zoom meeting, and I'm also looking for if anybody has a short presentation to use while the results are tabulated, something that would be about 10-15 minutes in length. But I'm looking forward to participation. I'm hoping that we don't get 8,000 photos from the West Penn meet, but there were a lot of cameras clicking out there when they had their trolley parades. So, but good luck to everybody. Personally, I really enjoy doing this, and we end up with some beautiful shots, and really appreciate everybody's efforts to capture photos. Previous efforts for the trolleys of the past, and for the trolleys currently, the contemporary ones. So the rules are in the newsletter, the March newsletter, and it'll be again in the April newsletter. If you can, don't wait to the last minute. Like, don't everybody send your slides on March 31st. If you pretty much know what you're going to send in, a couple days earlier would help, just so I don't have to do everything at the last minute. And I see Mr. Dietrich there. So hello, sir.
I don't see, maybe he is.
Yeah, there it is.
You can take a look at it.
On Mars' screen, he's center square, so he's playing Paul in today.
Yeah, I think that's.
He never can make his microphone work.
Well, Bob, if you can hear us, our sympathies go out to you and your family.
Oh, goodness sake, thank you.
And John V has joined us as well.
Afternoon.
Yeah, but we're almost done with the meeting, but I'm out in the meeting room. I'll be doing a flyover with my cell phone camera, so I'm going to keep that going for about a half hour or so. They're having their open house, so there's a lot of people here, but they have two layouts, HO and O, and I'll be back and forth between those. So you get an idea what it's like. They have an outstanding layout, club here and two well done layouts. If you ever get a chance to come up here, I really encourage it. It might be a drive, but it's worth it.
And John V, this is Tom Lederer. Earlier, I publicly thanked you for your open house last month. I was not able to make it. My daughter gave birth the day before to our first grandchild, so I was not able to make it. But I just want to let you know that we thought of you earlier in the meeting, and again, I publicly thank you for inviting us back to your wonderful layout and the hospitality that you show. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I got personally ambushed yesterday. I was told that my grandson is getting his confirmation today.
Oh,
So guess where I was?
yes.
Family comes first. And so I'm sorry I couldn't make it up there.
Yeah.
But I've been to that layout before. It's a terrific layout. And I look forward to the videos.
Going once, going twice.
Okay, well, thank you again, and Bob, our hearts go out to you.
Yeah, but that's 26. Right.
Start doing more of mine.
Okay, the meeting has been closed. Thank you all for coming. And again, Charlie Sonntag, thank you very much for having us.
Okay, thanks. It's lunchtime, Randy.
I do have some other trucks.
Here, we got strawberries.
Rich Ullman, have you moved yet?
Oh, yeah, we moved in July.
Oh, you did? Okay. Your layout set up?
Work in progress. I'm at the point of building the control panel.
Gonna do that.
Great.
I hope to have that together in the next 4 or 5 days.
I wanna go down to the area.
And then, as they say in the transit industry, have a minimal operable segment.
I got it.
Well, hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Andy Bursgard, and I am a member of
Yes.
East Penn also.
Yes.
Oh,
And you're a
there
real,
All right, no, I'm just looking to see they're going around with a camera. I have it as a little screen below all you guys. Can you see it in the big screen?
yes.
All right.
Let's see, how did we,
That section you see going across the arch bridge there, the catenary under there is New Haven A-frame catenary.
Trolleys and we all kind of work together and do it. Maybe that's something to do.
And we're looking at the O-scale layout right
I
now.
don't know if that's a meter or.
No.
are the trolleys on your O scale DCC or just DC?
Straight DC right now, the trolley car layout is under rebuilding now. It's in its second year. Was up to me. I was the trolley car guy for the last 10, 12 years. And what was happening is the catenary, the wire, the trolley wire was nickel silver. It was estimated to be at least 40 to 45 years old. And it was becoming very brittle, especially at the solder joints. So 2 years ago, it broke 4 times during the show. And the last time it broke was way in the back The only way to get at it, you had to take some of the scenery down in the back. So we just left it. And after the show, we decided to work it out. And there's a famous picture of me on a plank above the layout, sitting on a plank trying to fix the wires. I then later on decided that the wires had to be replaced. And at some point, because that was built before I was even involved with the trolley cars. One of the old guys said, that's a module, that whole thing will slide out. And we went under it, we looked at it, we found out how to get it out, and we had to break up some of the scenery along the back wall of it. But we got the whole thing out into the aisle. I started working on the wires, and two gentlemen who are new members, Charlie Sontag, one of your directors, and another fellow, Mark Lepkin. He's actually a trolley guy, but he works up at the East Haven Trolley Museum, got involved in it along with me, and decided that the fellow who built it, Drew Daniels, had set up the whole thing for East Penn traction operation with no relays were ever put in, but he had everything wired under the streets for almost every single trolley pole on that section, the city section, had an individual wire going to it. So you could insulate each pole and the wire to it, and you could have stopping blocks about every 8 feet. And we decided that, there it is right now. We decided that what we wanted to do was to put all the switches that are in it back into operation. So we started digging up the switches, because none of them, they were like just solidified for sitting there for 40 years. I rebuilt a number of the switches, and we just got the wire in the last 3 months to run 2 loops in the city. But for some reason, it's not happy with some of the trolley cars. It's functioning, but the poles don't stay on too well. So after the show is over, it'll come back out. And whatnot. The other end, where you see the tall building in the background there, that is what we call the interurban side. The curves on, there's 12-inch curves in the city. Out there, there's like 14 to 18-inch curves. So the big cars can run out there. And what we're trying to do is, the design was that it was interconnected. There's 2 tracks that will come into the city section. One of the tracks will loop around, stop at an interurban station, which is in the city, and then go back out to the interurban side. It takes at least 4 different switches to operate in order to do that. Where the towards the back there, just what Y is where the interchange is between the two sections. So hopefully,
if you want to take
next year,
back to,
we'll get it going. I'm hoping that the 2 gentlemen that are working with me
go to the truck.
get into the wire part of it. I've been doing the wiring, they were doing the digging. They dug out all the switches to rebuild them. I rebuilt them. I got Charlie and Mark working on the track work, putting in some of the track work. And hopefully after this show is over, it's going to come back out. And we need to do a lot of special work in the trolley, the trolley wire area for the interchange, because there's a lot of crossing switches. And right now it's just set up to run 2 loops around the city.
Actually, in the shop, right?
So, any questions?
By the way, congratulations on your being mentioned in the NMRA magazine on the history of your club.
Right. Yeah. I wrote, next year is going to be our 100th anniversary, and I wrote the 50th anniversary article. I was 23 years old. I had just joined the society, and I don't know how I got talked into it. But I went into all the old records and dug out stuff and wrote it up for Railroad Model Craftsman. And Hal Carsons and I got to be very good friends after that. Because Hal was sort of a member down there. And Hal Carsons Publications, when they were located in New Jersey, is only about 20 miles from where we are. So Hal is sort of like a honorary member coming down stuff like
You
that.
know, when I get it, the shop right.
The first time I saw a New York Society layout, I think, was in 1956 at the Hoboken terminal, the ferry terminal.
Yeah, that would have been last year down there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's where I got really hooked on traction
Yeah, there was a track.
because I was, let's see, 16 years old. I came over on the Hudson Tubes,
Yeah.
which is now called PATH.
Had they been built
Um,
then?
Pardon?
Had they been built then? When you were 16?
And the layout was, I think, 32 feet by 100 feet. I think was, I recall. And they weren't running much in terms of trains, but there's this one guy who was running a trolley out at the end of the layout down towards where the ferry terminals, the model ferry terminals were.
Right.
Was a traction line there. And he was running a Pittman Lehigh Valley freight motor. That was a Pittman kit. I
Yeah.
have one of those now.
Yeah.
And I was brand new. I had scratch built a little work car that was on the back of railroad model Craftsman. It was very simple, and I was able to purchase a Pittman truck for it, and that's where I got started. I still have that car. I still run it, but I asked this guy 100 questions, and initially I think he was a little annoyed, and then he realized that I was serious. And then we got some. I got some really good answers from him, and that was really the beginning of my traction modeling in O-scale. 16 years old.
Well, if you get any emails from me, my name is on there. I have a line that you guys probably remember. Knowledge is of no value unless shared with others.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Vane,
As a lifelong educator, I believe that.
Vane Jones.
Yeah.
So, I just sat down here to have something to eat, but nice talking to you, gentlemen. Take care.
Good seeing you. Thanks for hosting us.
You're welcome.
No problem at all. The minute it starts to warm up.
Favorite line from between Betty Davis and Barbara Stanwyck, and she says,
Need to get Mike to talk into that
I was a
phone
child.
of his so that the thing snaps up.
Barbara Stanwyck says, that's because Jesus wasn't born yet. Yes.
Yeah, isn't there a way in Zoom where you can take one and make it the whole screen? I can't find it.
I keep poking, I can't find it.
I think the host has
three
to-
dots up there at the top right.
Yeah, the host has to do it.
Well, you can do it on your screen. It's down in the upper right-hand corner.
Upper right-hand
View.
corner.
Says view.
On my screen, all I get is work. Well, let me try that.
There should be a view button. So I'm seeing sign in, recording, and then view. And if we go to view, we can go to the speaker. And right now, John, we're seeing you. And you can pin one. Lark is right. She's very, very right. So I'm going to view the profile. I'm going to pin me. Everyone can see me. And by the way, we still have a whole lot of treats. So if you're local, I need someone to come here and eat lots of cheese and meat. And we've also got, no one's eating the apples, which is both good and bad. So I don't now, quick question. Are all of your screens now pinned on me, or do you have different views? That's something I
don't see a pin. Can you pin the Samsung SU590 whatever?
The only way you can
That's
make
all we want to see.
if
No, not him. We don't want to pin him.
you get that, you have to first of all, unmute Samsung. You can only designate the speaker as the full screen. If it,
Mike will never show up as a speaker because he has his microphone turned on.
And everyone else would have to be muted.
Okay, so
Oh,
here, I'll let Lark
There's
is
three.
the web mistress. She knows this. Yes, yes.
there's three, there are three dots next to his video and I clicked it and there's a pin in there and it worked.
See? Okay, I don't know. You can now pin multiple people, so I just want to pin one person. Remove pin. So tell them the three dots and then you'll see pin, add pin, and you could pin the person you want to see. That's what I would do.
Yeah, for me, what I did was I went to the view of the layout and I right clicked and then it came up with pin
Yes.
and it worked.
That's
And
what
on the
you just
side, I
said.
still see all you
Ah,
guys.
yeah.
Yeah, it's working now. Thank you, John. Thank you, Lark.
So Rich, any pictures or that you want to share of your layout?
Coming soon.
Coming soon to a theater near you. Very good.
Yeah. I was mentioning I'm at the point of building the control panel, hopefully this weekend, a lot of it.
Oh. Good.
All the overhead is hung. There's some tweaking going on. There's a lot of tweaking going on. I have most of the under platform stuff done. Charlie Long was here on Thursday, and we got one very challenging switch machine installed. It was challenging because of my own stupid planning, installing a turnout right near the edge and under a brace, over a brace. But we got it done. It's, I guess the take home lesson was putting in under table switch machines is really a two-person job.
Good. Hey, does anyone know information on Gary Rain's newest project, the LVT 800s? I know that Ed was planning to get some printed in China and then bring them back. I'm wondering if that has been successful, or I know Gary's printed his own things, especially that freight motor.
In the works. That's what I've heard.
It's in the works. Okay. Works is good. Oh, I don't know if you can see this, but here's the model airplane flying around. So Mike Junrod is showing a video on its way out. There's a little control line airplane. I watched a person destroy a control line Spitfire that was tissue and balsa put together. They flew it and they put it in the ground and it just exploded, absolutely exploded. And as he was flying it for a while, I was like, oh my God, I got to get into this. I really got to get it. And then into the playground asphalt it went, and I felt such pain, sympathetic pain watching it crash, and then young men feeling sad. So that's why I like the trains. Usually they don't fall. Usually.
Unless you're members of the Adams.
Yeah, I remember that too, but had some cases where they jump off the layout and crash. So like trains, remote controlled ships, usually don't have to worry about fold.
That's the objective.
So this is our O-scale layout for those of you who are interested. And you're looking up over the viaduct, and then Port Jervis is up on the highest level. And this is kind of one of the dividing points. The line on the far left goes to a coal mine, and our hidden tracks. Now, something Mike might want to do, we've got this collection of drum heads. We've got a White Pass in Yukon. We've got an Illinois terminal. We've got some amazing drum heads here at the layout. And Santa Fe, and others. And Mike, you might want to get a chance. In fact, I'll run out and suggest that he takes a gander at all the cool drum heads that we have on display over the layout. So I'll do that now.
Okay, you guys, thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for coming. Thank you for making the trip.
All right.
Hope to see you again soon.
Yeah, we'll see you in
Good.
Okay.
Who was the first coach that you went to? I can't remember. I remember reading it not too long ago. So. Huh?
Yeah.
So he came up, he told me, he said, "Look, so he said, like that." And so he was the audience. Oh, I was like, he was tired, his character was tired. Yeah, it was great. It was really fun.
No, oh, it's.
I am actually on number 2.
Oh, you are? Oh, okay. Flying in.
It's been I've been looking at an MRE event, Oakland, New Jersey. Way I was going to be open to them.
Oh, last week?
Yeah, last Friday.
Well, gentlemen, everyone?
No. A little bit out of breath chasing after the trolley car.
Oh, God, no, again, you right?
Yeah. I'm much better than I was back at the fall. I seem to be. Our doctors now think that it's because I had COVID in September. And then I had 3 or 4 times with that virus that was going around. Family. It was going from Andrew's family to Chris's family to Mary Jane, but she was going both places, and they wanted it, bringing it home to me. He
Yep.
had it.
So that affected your lungs, that bad?
Yeah. That's the
only explanation he can give you.
That's it. The heart was in great shape. The lungs are in good shape.
Well, hopefully now that the weather gets better, maybe. Yes. You don't have any seasonal allergies, do you?
Only in the fall.
Ralph, Darren came out and the boats. We watched the big boats. I was there? Yeah.
That's the Italian thing.
He's not bringing it back. I don't think, no. So if we want to, we can have, I don't know.
Did you know me, she was planning to,
I'm gonna try this. Charles said that this was very good. The different type of terrain.
she was planning to bring. Yeah, be careful, will you? The freedom train back to work in order or just studies, you know?
Let's go somewhere. Wow.
I heard about it. I would think just for aesthetics. Put that back at the working world. Would be about a $2 million project.
Thanks, Andy. Hey.
Okay. Did you get these?
I wonder how many interurban lines use drum heads on their trains.
Drum heads?
You see these drum heads that he's showing us. How many? I believe there were some interurban lines that use drum heads on the end of their long distance trains. Interurban train.
The 1000s on the Liberty Bell line did.
Yes, Sacramento Northern. You could see them at the you can see them at the Trolley Museum at Rio Vista Junction, California.
Illinois Terminal.
Health food. Health food. Health food.
I'm not a big fan of bread and butter. That's it.
That's why I like them.
Don, presumably the ones with double-ended cars did not.
Probably hope this thing on this page.
I'd have to look up some of my books, Cincinnati and Lake Erie. Did they do them?
No.
And what was that one in Iowa? There was a long distance interurban line there.
Waterloo, Cedar Falls, and Northern, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
The Krandick had some of the Red Devil cars, but they didn't have drum heads because they never rebuilt the rear ends.
Remember that was missing for a while?
And then a lot of the Iowa interurbans had double-ended cars, so they wouldn't have it either.
Here you go. No.
Johnstown had a Pepsi drum head on the front of their PCCs.
No, it was a bottle cap.
Yeah.
And they also had it on the 350 and 360 cars.
Step up storm, you can step up and see where you are. Okay? Yeah, I'll put it.
Looks like they're using NCE on their DCC.
Yes, it is. Get down, you can see my face. It's the HO layout is all NCE. The O-scale layout is old school DC. But in the last year and a half, we've been coming in, guys are coming in now with locomotives with the Blue Nami Dakota, DCC Dakota. And
Okay.
they will run off the 20, they run off the DC on the O-scale layout. But when we run those, you have to turn the rheostats all up to full power. So that you have at least 14 to 16 volts on the track. And you run them with you run them with your cell phone. And they work very good. When we first started doing it, we had a little bit of a problem in that when the trains went into the tunnel, they'd lose the signal from the phone and stop. And we spoke to a fellow up at Blunami, and he said, all you got to do is set one of the settings on it so it doesn't stop. That's what they did. We set a setting on the Blunami decoder so it doesn't stop, and it goes through the tunnels with no trouble at all now. But it works very good.
You drink that and you become the samurai. The only problem with this is really good. 34 grams of sugar and no added sugars. This stuff is sweet. That's plain. Wow, it's very sweet. Well, that's good.
I've done some work with dead rail. Interchanging 2-rail with 3-rail. Tom Piccirillo has well, it's not a complex system, but a system whereby he interchanges 2-rail and 3-rail at a yard.
Yes.
And what you have to do is
you flip a switch.
All of his freight cars are 2-rail. They're insulated for 2-rail. So even on the interurban line, that it's the same freight cars. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
But if you switch the yard from 2-rail to 3-rail, you got to make sure that you isolated your traction motors on a siding, because otherwise you get a short circuit, you shut the whole layout down. And I have interchange on my layout that's still under development, and I decided I didn't want to do the 2-rail, 3-rail, throwing toggle switches and that, and so I went to dead rail. My 2-rail is dead rail, which is battery powered, and that works well. And I have an NW2 with a huge battery in it. The battery is usually used on G-scale outdoor layouts.
Right.
And that thing will run for 5 hours on a charge. And I don't have any problems because it's isolated. Its 2-rail wiring is all isolated. So it just works without any controls going through the rails, and it's radio controlled.
Yeah, you're using the air wire system, right?
Pardon?
You use air wire system
That was the donation for the.
or airwave system?
I forget. I'd have to look that up.
Yeah.
I got it from some guy. I think he was in Texas or
That's the
somewhere out west.
air wire or air. I think it's air wire. I think it's air wire.
The thing is,
I have
got a
one
lot
of
of
those in
range.
an 040 scheme. I'm a regular operator at Tom's Layout, and I have an 040 rating Camelback engine, and I put battery in it, and I run it on his layout. Tom hasn't had an operating session now since back in August. I don't know if he's been in the hospital with his back. He had his back operated on twice.
Yeah, I was at his layout the last time. When was that? November?
But if you got,
November, December.
Got his phone number. He just came home Thursday from the rehab center. He likes to get phone calls. So anybody who's got his phone number, give him a shout.
Yeah, I will.
So.
The range, by the way, the range of this thing is something like 100 yards or 300 feet, the radio range.
Yeah.
I haven't had it out that far, but I've been in some pretty large rooms where I've done a clinic on how to, set this thing up.
Yeah.
And, I put the locomotive on the floor and I just run it around on the floor. I've not had it lose its signal. So,
No, that signal carries very well. Very well.
yeah, the radio.
You're right, Steve.
Hey, John,
But you have,
Gentlemen,
You're not
excuse
putting
me,
this
I'm
in
gonna
your
go back to the layout.
you're not putting this in your trolleys, are you?
That's what she did.
no,
Ah,
Hard to do though.
no, but I don't have any problems with running two rail locomotives with interchange. You have an interchange yard and you have
yeah,
two rail.
I'm poking a dead rail for my narrow gauge.
Me,
HO narrow gauge. It's hard to squeeze that thing into the engine.
Yeah,
Not much room in
that
it.
is a problem.
There when they burned up.
With those scale, the boards,
Or did it?
you have your standard decoder in there, and then you have to have this
Felt like that.
dead rail board, which is actually a radio receiver, and it will take your battery power and deliver it to your decoder. And you don't have to do anything special with the decoder. It runs just like it would be a normal two rail DCC.
But I got the stuff I got from England. No decoder, just a receiver hooked up to the motor.
NGIT kids.
Okay,
And
it looks like they combined it.
Yeah.
And then there's a transmitter with a bunch of buttons on the knob, so you can go from one car to another, one engine to another. I'll see once I get it working.
If I can cut in, if you're gonna, anybody's thinking about the battery powered, I would absolutely go with Blue Nami now. That's the top of the line, and it's not that expensive because you don't need any controllers for it. It works off your cell phone or off a tablet. And the Blue Nami sets up just like you would do on a regular DCC decoder. You just wire the battery to the power supply going into the decoder. And it's got a receiver in the decoder that receives the message from your phone.
Which one is this now?
And it's Blue Nami.
Blue Nami.
Blue Nami. It's put out by who does the Blue Namis?
It's soundtrack.
Soundtrack? They say
Yeah, there was a recent one-page
it's
advertisement in Craftsman.
Yeah. Right now, I believe we have 8 locomotives on the O-scale layout running with Blue Namis in them. And like I said before, the only thing you got to do is turn the power all the way up, which means you can't run the other stuff because they'll be flying off the tracks. But they all operate just as though they were DCC, and they're operating off the receiver and off your phone. So.
Work sound. More sound files than you can manage.
What?
More sound files.
I think we need to wake up Bowman.
And like he looks like the RS-11, like the 251-12 film. They have like 3 versions of it.
Who is that? Who used to go to sleep all the time? Hi, Rich.
Hey.
Oh, I gotta get off.
Uh-oh. I'll talk to you.
Talk to you. See you next time. Bye, guys. How do I do that now? Leave. There it is.
All right. Boy, he's a salty shit. This is a nice little white tablecloth. It was good. I'm thinking maybe we should have all our board meetings catered like this.
Well, we have. You think it's fun? Lamar brought these in. We got a whole box package of them back here.
Come on, those tablecloths?
Yeah.
Okay. That's why we got one for Charlie yesterday, because he said he was getting food.
All right, guys, I'm signing out. Have a great afternoon. Thank you, Charles.
Take care, Reg.
Like a couple
See ya.
dozen Castle burgers. He went a little more upscale than that. Wendy's, Wendy's chili. Wendy's chili. I love Wendy's chili. It's not bad, it's pretty good. Great aid? Option one. Oh, only 14 calories. Great and orange. When I was in college, working out of the training room, we always had a mixed Gatorade for the team. But one year, I remember sophomore year, trainer decided to change. A new product came out called, there was a new sports energy drink called Crips Plus. Right? It tasted like lemon ice. And it was sweet. So we'd make it just during our shifts in the training room, just to drink it, right? And we only had it 1 year. After that, we went back to Gatorade. That's what the reason was. It was too sweet, too much sugar. I forget. It's not made anymore. But it was outstanding flavor. We had a party in there 1 year. We threw all this, we filled one of the whirlpools up with ice water and just threw a couple of cases of beer in there. Beer circling around. It was good. Many years ago. Many years ago. Oh, well. This ain't bad, Ralph. Yeah, it's not too bad. No, I had one, not bad. Low sugar. It does have sugar. Yeah, it's 2 grams. 2 grams, that's well, nothing really. Really nice. Not bad. Yeah. It's 14 calories. 6% juice. Yeah. This is really good. This is loaded with sugar. Yeah, but it's not. There's no added sugar. No, it's just the fruit, the natural fruit. Delicious. Thank you. Do we have a name for that? Yeah. Very good. What's the guy's name? No, I haven't even mind. Oh, the guy who built it? Maybe. I don't know his name. Oh. Rafford.
I was living in the Milwaukee area. I have friends in Chicago. And they had a lumber yard called the Crafty Beaver. The Crafty Beaver. And one, so it featured a beaver in overalls. And one day some naughty individual went up to billboard and put in a pink beret. And yeah, that was very.
No,
we've been using toothpicks, but it good enough. Good enough.
You remember the MASH episode where they ordered spare ribs from a place in Chicago, Adam's Ribs it was called, and they get going through all the channels of delivery, they get held up in some supply area, they can't get them. So Hawkeye and Trapper go in. They drive wherever the place was and they pick in. The sergeant around the whole place was, what is it? What's in this spot? It's medical supply. Yeah, I'm sorry, he wouldn't give it to him, Joey. Okay, he's like, okay, what's really in the box? So, okay, look, he said, we ordered 20 pounds of spare ribs from Chicago. I was like, oh, Adam's ribs in Chicago? He's from Chicago. Yes, how do you know? Because I'll tell you what, you give me 10 pounds and a quart of sauce. And 10 pounds of a pint of sauce. Okay, deal. Remember that, Doug? Yeah, that was funny. Adam's ribs. No, you didn't get coleslaw. I have a buddy of mine who moved to Florida. So far, he's had me go to
Interesting.
Rutt's Hut. Oh, yeah. Twice. To get a 10-pound box of hot dogs. Send them down to him. From where? Rutt's Hut. Hey, Rutt's Hut. Route 21 and Route 3. We have friends who do the same thing at the hot dog. The thing about the hot dog is I don't know. Nice little chili sauce. You can buy a quarter.
Yes.
There are people that when they come here.
I told Mike to film our drum heads.
Okay, really, those are the best text. Things they get away. I've never been here. Here's the place of some people, Mike's. You have the chili dog. It was so good. And you eat one, you're.
Oh.
So you always got to order.
They're fine.
No. From Mike's, yeah. They were good dogs. Oh, they were good.
That's where it was. That also came to us when we were in the Hoboken terminal from that's the one of Liberty.
No.
And the final test line.
That's a round one, not a square one. Is that when it was heavyweight?
They got the readings that this is where this wound up, because they thought it had been lost to this point.
Okay.
Whenever they bring in the business plan.
Okay.
Which had an open.
Someone's out there with the, I guess with a connection.
Wow.
Oh, big film. Well, someone out there's filming. Maybe someone out there's filming.
They had no idea. They moved.
The one color. That's Facebook.
Very nice.
Zoom.
Oh, Zoom, okay.
Yeah. Here, I'll go.
I'm going to update it.
Coming in here with a business too.
I love this review.
Yeah, that's good.
Watching one of the episodes of Time Call the other day, but know that members, the girl, what the orange store.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sparser Indian.
He was
That's funny.
He was cute, actually.
He was. Every time Jerry would, always screw up what he was saying. When family would say.
Yeah. You know, when you get an idea. And he's like, we're gonna like, are you kidding me? I don't know. There's footage showing that he was still bringing out there.
Well, I see it, 4066 crossing the diamond up 54, 4066 up 54.
I got that little switcher that Atlas logo, the Southern Allegheny logo, well, eBay, $50.
Yes, too.
That is a photo in it, and LED. So sound, Senator Cole. I love them logos live action.
Those little Alice, that's what they pull quite a bit.
Yes.
Ron's working the hump. I told him the limited 12, right? Yeah, around 12. Oh, yeah. I got fourth, everybody.
I've been ignoring it, so I'm gonna put 2.2 up 5-4.
Back in '85, Reagan, they called it so great. They go to the $6 million home.
And then I guess when it comes around, I'll terminate it.
Anthony, did we run did we run the green train again? Did we or should we? Did we? I ran it twice. Those from the second time? Yeah. And I changed the rollers out, two of them, and then we put it back and. We don't have any more. No more dental floss, so we can't pay the rollers anymore. Right. Until tomorrow. Yeah. All right. So we're stuck for today, but Lamar says he'll bring some tomorrow. All right.
You got the hearing incoming, you run around.
Looks like I'm the only guy in.
They still there.
I think they are.
Yeah.
Like somebody, are they watching you like?
Yeah, so Mike Fugerod has been going around taking pictures of the rail
Okay.
and of the drum heads.
Why? They still there. Some people are. Okay, just the turn, they're just using the. Okay. I was like, maybe.
Just a museum, streetcar museum in Brandon. Yes. Is that?
Make sure you check the time. And it's a good idea to buy tickets in advance. So one time Mark and I went out there and we found, got there around noon and they're like, oh, you sold all the tickets today. Yeah, that was. Nice. And the week before, I think we had gotten there a little too late, and it's like, sometimes I just show up to places and think that you don't need to follow a schedule. So the second time they to the shop, hey, and bought tickets, but the third time we went to spread. Yeah, I know you like them because they're a little like to explain it. It's hard sometimes to really know what you're going to get with some of those places. It's like yeah, the in the northern maybe I'll through it nice. This is a whole lot of that. Not gonna say some people it's gonna be very nice. And then I wasn't I was a school. Some of I volunteered a little bit of that. Scraping the car that they were doing eventually. And when I went back several years back, and the car I think looks worse than that because of course once they did it, there was of course you can sit outside. And it was they seemed to be their sort of business. They paid and put it into the NPR under cover. Well, that's something that IRM started doing. Sadly, in the 70s, they left a lot of stuff out in the 60s, but they didn't have issues like now. Getting things under cover is the big issue. They rightfully point out the only problem is now you've got an unlighted train in the dark in a shed, but at least it's in the dark, it's in a shed. Because I know I'm one of those, trained people working fighting at that place. You can't take photos, you can't see it, or you can't see it at all. But is it better that? Because when I lived in Chicago, I'm out there. Not a lot, but I went up there at least, 3 times or so. IRM's nice. Fox Valley was finally just like hello, I mean if there wasn't for 50, 70 years, and they're finally putting them under track. It looks like it's on top of that out there in place just like the sky in front of you want to get in here? Nah. If things wrong with the rail thing, it's probably helping themselves with their, stuff to decorate their man cave. It all depends on them. There's some little things. I would just. You see, I'm not going there, and you come here later with back, and then you can see somebody help themselves, but voice pictures and all that. What you looking for? But like I said, regular ones are easy to deal with because they're like parts here. Yes, similar age. Usually might be able to be San Francisco, and he had his toolkit, he was helping himself. So.
And he seemed very proud of it.
Yeah.
And he was helping himself to.
I don't think I ever in my life.
Can't believe it, they don't lock this stuff up, so.
It's like, you know, something that old grandpa. Put this off the 20th century limit. No, really.
Hello, Charlie.
Hi, John.
I'm the Lone Ranger here.
Yeah, yeah.
When they will be waiting on them about 60. Are they for sale? The reporter said, no, but just $5. And they went to want us. So I followed. Like that. We like this. Basically bought it from someone else who's.
On the meat, Charlie, it's, what are some of the hotels that are nearby? The venue where we're gonna be,
Yeah, I think I'm gonna commute from my house.
And it was one of the, was Kiki Chario, Carson.
Cause I don't know what's gonna come in the mail or whatever, you know.
I stayed at a Holiday Inn, but it was outside the town. And, so, I mean, it wasn't that bad. It was about a 10 or 15-minute drive. You know, and it was okay. Except that the parking lot is on a hill, literally.
Oh.
And with my walking.
Yeah.
Remade them as plastic and put the plastic one back on. So that when people stole it, they still in the plastic. Buildings play as opposed to solid drawings.
Yeah, I was only sort of half investigating to see what they have, but I think it has to be like the minimum stays like a week or so. You know, there's that Phoebe senior living center right next door. And I know sometimes some of those places, they do provide like respite care. So people can go for a short stay. But I think it looks like I looked on their website and it's only it looks like a minimum of like a week or so, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Because see, some of our people could almost qualify for that, you know, and maybe need a little assistance getting around and taking their medicines or so. That would be a, you know, possible alternative, I was thinking, but yeah, so I'm not really familiar where to stay at in Allentown. I never really.
Yeah, I'll have to do you know, go on the computer here and look around.
Yeah.
And see what's available. Because I think the last meet, some of the downtown hotels filled up.
Yeah.
You know, and I saw the communication that you guys put out saying that you know, it's near graduation day and so forth.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I get that.
You have that. You have that flying banana. I have the flying banana. I have one of those Lima 060s that's 1970s. I've got that Australian hockey pot, which is an elevator, which puts some attached to it.
Cool, Michael.
I've got some kits. Most of the weekend benefit. You're bigger than buying stuff around that.
Nah, I think the days are over. I think around Christmas time, people will buy it, but now.
Mistakes.
You have about 27 people.
Hopefully nothing's broken, it's just the frosting's on the. Solder's on the. I can't cross it by weakness. More frosting, yay! That's what I get this they said he was paid at a house that if you went to, house you drive back. It looked like they must have even paid her like Home Depot, you know, so that she could get on. And he just laid there. So thick you couldn't see him. And the car. And I'm wondering, how can I get this stuff off? Because you know, I might be able to do something with it after they paint it. I'm looking at this laser on it that. We run the salt and the chair's fine. Yeah, I was working fast. This could work. This could just fly.
I think I maybe can shut down the Zoom.